What's up, everyone? Welcome to this episode of Galactic Nerd Outpost. I am your host, Joey McGee, aka Gojin the Makai Phantom. Joining me is once again Cody Bratch.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Leaky Shit Geats.
and Abyss Kaiser. Essentially, to kind of update everyone on the situation, yeah, I kind of went on a bit of a hiatus because for a bit I had it where I would do an episode. I'd do a video on 1 week, and the next I'd do a stream. And then after a bit, I started doing none of them, much because I kind of needed to get my mindset back together as a whole. You know, life gets in the way and shit like that. I don't get paid for this shit yet, so... But I am getting back on the grind. I plan to next month, which is almost here, to get quite a few videos and podcasts out, actually. I want to get back on that consistency and all that shit. Because you know what? Getting life back together, so gonna get the channel back together.
And what better way to do that than with Leaky Shit Geats?
Oh, god damn it, Cody. And then
I
essentially
will
what
never
we're doing...
let it go.
I know. And then what we're doing here is take a look at 3 things to kind of make up for that. And we're probably going to do this more often because, you know what? A lot of podcasts / live streams take a look at a bunch of different topics in one episode. So don't see why we shouldn't, because it could expand the horizon of who clicks the stream, because they'll be like, hey, I have interest in this topic and things like that, you know?
Just don't take it too seriously when you do.
Yeah, most definitely. In the end, it's fuckery. That's what it is.
We are here for the fuckery.
Yeah, but first thing we're going to look at is, though neither of us, I don't think, played it yet, but from what we've seen of clips, reviews, and such, the Saints Row Reboot looks like shit. And
no, it looks like a shit while taking a shit. That's how fucking bad it is. Like,
yeah,
God damn it.
Like, I do want to point out, I don't have too much experience in the Saints Row series. I played one of the games that had Keith
That's
David.
why you have me.
Yeah, I played one of the games where Keith David played himself as the mayor in a alien invasion attack.
No, he played as your vice president in Saints Row 4.
Okay, so that was Saints Row 4. Yeah, I played some of that one, and I had fun with it.
But he played as Julius Little, who was the original Saints leader before your character took over.
Yeah. It's kind of like, if I remember correctly, the story is kind of like a more over-the-top version of Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin's Independence Day.
Maybe more like The Matrix, and I guess Independence Day also, because you're fighting in simulators most of the time.
Yeah.
And 4, it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, because I played some of that one, but for some reason I got sidetracked, but I did really enjoy it. And I do want to experience more of the Saints Row games, but this one doesn't seem like the way to do it, because, oh boy, there's just so much wrong with it. And first of all, I think we are getting something like this every year. It's becoming like a tradition where you get a hyped game that turns out to be fucking dog shit. Because first, it was Battlefield 2042. A lot of people were hyped for that game. Then it came out, it fucking sucked. It's been updated, but I still heard the overall game isn't good. And then after that, Cyberpunk 2077. CD Projekt Red were making themselves out to be the fucking prophet of gaming that wasn't out for your wallet. Everyone was excited for it. And I admit, it looked good. But then it came out and it was a buggy mess, despite all the fucking positive reviews. But then again, they were paid to only review the PC version, which I heard was better than the console ports, but still flawed. And that one I do think has potential to be fixed. While we'll get to the Battlefield soon. While the previous game I mentioned being, what's the word I'm looking for? The previous game I mentioned, Fallout 27. What was that Fallout game called? The terrible one?
Fallout 76 was the really buggy bad one.
Yeah. Well, that one many people say is kind of already doomed. Like, it could fix up a lot of the bugs to make it a less insufferable experience, but it's still overall too broken to be fixed, from what I've been told. And then there's Battlefield 2042, which many people say is one of the worst AAA games of all time. Hell, it has, I think last time I checked, it had less than like a couple thousand players that were still playing through it, which is saying a lot, because that's a fucking Battlefield game. And now you got Saints fucking Row back in that list. And this is the Grand Theft Auto competitor. That's what Saints Row is. And this is below the fucking GTA game that came in 2013. Almost a decade ago, I may add.
I mean, they both came out at the same... That's what's funny. Saints Row 4 and Grand Theft Auto 5 came out like about the same time, just only months apart.
Yeah, and this one seems to be quite inferior to it, where it just kind of fucks up your experience. JS Penna said, I totally forgot this game was coming out. I was only aware of it after the game came. The game trailer.
The game came out. Just say that and let's go on.
GameCon, bitch.
But yeah, I knew of it coming out because it's Saints Row, but that was about it. But then once it was close to coming out, the negative reviews just came pouring in, and
literally fans, critics, everyone who see this game is like, my god, it looks like dog shit.
Yeah, and you know what? We should probably take a look at some of the bugs of this game to just kind of prove how bad it is. Cause I know a lot of people are gonna be like, "Oh, you haven't played it, you can't properly judge it." And
I was about to address that. I'm like, you don't have to play every fucking game to know, like, okay, this is dog shit. This is one of those games.
Like, are we the best person to judge the game? No, but when you look at it, it's not a good look. I'll just say that.
Yeah, especially when if you want to just be like, okay, what's the best one in the series? Just play 2.
Okay.
I agree with you, JS Penna. Hype for Killer Clown's video game. Woo!
Okay, so.
Also, I'm just here so I won't get fined.
Okay, so. Okay, what am I looking? Oh yeah, Saints Row.
You should look up that clip where like the main character at the beginning is just like randomly discussing like a bunch of stupid shit. It's so cringe.
Okay,
they're like fuck, shit, crap, or some shit. I'm like, did someone seriously thought this was funny?
Apparently,
I think
because
off you, Aaron.
Like, the thing is, I'm foul-mouthed, but here's the thing. There's a way to say fucking swear words. I'm real. A lot of the way these people talk is not fucking real. And let's see this one. If I remember correctly, this scene right here is a perfect example of how bad the dialogue is. As Mischief pointed out that they sound like fucking Twitter users. And Twitter users, everyone fucking knows people who use Twitter aren't goddamn human.
This might be the part I was just talking about.
Sanity.
All in line? What the fuck?
Didn't get a bonus.
Oh, fuck.
And
Yeah, this is what I was talking about.
Goddamn fuck.
you would never believe.
Goddamn motherfucking goddamn fuck.
Yeah.
Crap.
I'm guessing there might be some music playing right now. I turned off the licensed music.
Goddamn fucking shit.
There might be some music right now.
Oh my lord.
Probably is.
Yeah, that's very bad dialogue. Like, foul-mouthed people do exist.
Yeah, no,
I'm
people
a
spoke
perfect
it. I
example
didn't
of
notice when I
that.
was playing,
But here's
so,
the
yeah.
thing.
Line.
I don't
Please
talk
don't
like
too much in the
this.
comments.
Nobody
No.
does. That's just bad writing. And now you have this
Eventually
scene.
become
Smells
the same.
amazing, Kev.
You know what would make
Oh my
this
god,
smell?
Kevin.
Hey man, if you want a $300
Oh, God.
waffle maker,
We
you can
already
buy
know
with
a
exposure
Kevin the
items.
Cuck.
Hey, you win. What expect
I've told you before.
Or what
Idols
we
are
better
trying to
know
build
him
a
as
post-capitalist
Cuckstello.
society where money is not a concept.
Yeah. Then why don't you go
Faggot
run
and
off and join the
Cuckstello.
I'm into showering. Are you gonna help me get the waffle
Oh
maker or
god,
not?
that meme.
As an investor, I
that
don't like
fucking
wasting
meme.
money.
You're wearing a fucking bow tie.
Okay, I will throw in $20 for a waffle maker.
Nina,
Good for 10?
who helped you move your forged paintings last month?
Fine, 15.
What sort of waffle maker can I get for $35?
Presumably one that makes fucking waffles.
Hey, hey, the wage slave is back.
See, does anybody fucking talk like this outside of Twitter users? And there's
No.
nothing wrong with having a left thing going on with it. I defended the new Predator movie Prey recently, and that had a feminist message. I got called fucking woke for defending that movie because
This shit is the actual real woke bullshit right here.
Yeah, that's what woke is. Prey.
Even fucking Mischief, who shits on the people who always going after woke stuff, was like, yo, this shit's woke. It's fucking bad.
This is real woke shit. Prey, that had a feminist message. That wasn't fucking woke. This here is woke trash.
This is woke trash.
Yeah. The best I can compare it personally is like, I don't know if you guys heard of this, but CW was planning on making a live-action Powerpuff Girls TV show.
I heard about that. I'll be completely honest here. I'm not exactly a fan of the Powerpuff Girls. The original show was okay. I liked the characters like Mojo Jojo. I thought he was funny. But overall, it wasn't really my jam. The remake. Oh!
Yeah!
Oh! That was already terrible.
You want the show from Jojo? No.
And the live-action remake's probably going to be worse. And I'm not against live-action adaptations. I fucking defend live-action adaptations of many things. But that... No! Oh, God.
Yeah. The only live-action I can sit here and probably say was worth a shit is, Old Boy, whatever you're talking about. Based off of...
No, there's more. Like, you have Old Boy, which is a masterpiece, which is actually considered to be better than the manga, which the manga is considered great. There's the Death Note movies, which as great as the animated series is, and overall, I'd say in most cases, it's on par with the animated series, but there's some improvements that it did make to the story.
You're not talking about the Netflix one, right?
I'm talking about the Japanese movies by Shusuke Kaneko.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, those actually made some improvements over the original story. Like I'm not going to spoil anything about the Death Note story, but there's a major flaw in one of the changes that goes on with the characters that the movie sort of kept, but changed it enough where it just done it perfectly in how the original material should have had it. And you also had other things that, like, they dived more into that detective chick story and made her more sympathetic and vengeful rather than throwaway cannon fodder for light. The Attack on Titan movies, a lot of people hate them, but I actually think they're really good. But they aren't perfect. Rurouni Kenshin, that's great. Erased is also really good.
Whenever you're done talking, you need to look up the Saints Row 3 trailer. Right, show them what actual Saints Row fucking looks like, not this bullshit on our screen right now.
First, I'm going to show them the bugs of this game. We already shown them the shit writing.
They got rid of all the characters everybody loved. Johnny Gat, John D, Pierce, the player character. He was funny in his own right, even if it was like your own custom character.
It's my pleasure to bring you over 100 bugs that I've come across in Saints Woke Reboot. Like the video, so more people know the mediocre, soulless, $60 afterthought that is this game. Please forgive my enthusiasm as well. I've been called a liar and a number of things for advocating for curvy women like the game used to allow, as well as acknowledging that it's broken. As a darky myself, I know all too well that recognizing a problem to some makes you the problem. But I'll gladly and proudly wear the target on my back if it means that I get to retain the dignity that comes with my honesty.
But it's Saints Row, guys!
Had an uphill battle with the deliberately divisive choices made in neutering a property people used to like. You claim verbatim you will not back down on your lazy placeholder Watch Dogs cast, your cheap voiceovers, your royalty-free music, more on that later. The fear of being real and therefore relatable, it fucked you. Volition, all you had left was gameplay. And in showcasing this dated, buggy, constantly freezing up and forcing game restarts, pathetically short shadow draw distance, bullet sponge infested mess, you have
I want to cry right now.
Sealed
I love this series, and this is what it's become.
Who was on the fence? To any weirdo hate watching me with their junk in their hands, specifically to get mad, only to try and reach out to me on
all
Reddit
the Saints Row games are great, but what the fuck happened with this one?
Nobody's forcing you to consume this. There's no gun to your head. And even if there was, you'd probably react like the shopkeepers in Saints Row who cannot be held up. I guess that's dated as dated as the gameplay. Listener, comment below your favorite aspect of the out-of-touch developers fighting fans only for their game to come out and look like this.
Oh my god.
I honestly barely had time to watch too many streams, but the consistency of some of these bugs was nothing short of astounding. People think a day one patch is going to fix all of this, but if it doesn't, this footage will serve as a nice representation of how long these problems have plagued the game.
They gotta quit fucking doing this shit, releasing the games that are just buggy.
Genuine talent for Saints Row to take Unreal Engine and make it look janky, dirty, rigid, and incapable. This is the same engine Epic's been using to flex on the industry with Fortnite.
We should probably move on to the other trailer now. But first, I got some things I want to say about when it comes to releasing games. When it comes to releasing games early, I'm not completely against releasing a game early, since we are in an era where you can update the game at any time. And with releasing it unfinished does kind of give certain players a chance to play the game before it's in its finished state, while others can wait. But here's the issue here. Games like this are released in such an unfinished state, that excuse can't be given. It's too piss poorly made where nobody is going to want to buy it and play it right now. That's the issue that's going on here. It was released like shit, and with how bad the writing is and certain aspects to the gameplay, I don't know if there's a way they could even fix this shit with updates. Some of it is just damage is already done.
I think I wouldn't be surprised if we hear like maybe a year or two from now Voltolition shuts down.
Yeah, because that's just bad. Now, you want me to look up the Saints Row 3 trailer, right?
Yeah. They were talking about how they had to let go of a lot of employees because Agents of Mayhem was like a flop. Yeah. And that game was preferable over this.
No, I don't want any reaction. Okay.
Yeah, first one. Here we go, the actual Saints Row shit. Oh, how I miss THQ, man.
Yeah, I grew up with THQ. They done wrestling games, SpongeBob games, all that stuff that I played the fuck out of as a kid.
Philippe Rin. The Winter Sisters. Kiki on your left, Viola on your right.
Doing something mean to it. Do it better than anybody you ever seen. Do it. Screams from the haters. Got a nice ring to it. I guess every superhero need his theme music. No one
you have all that power. Pierce and Gat. Josh Burke. Shundi and Pierce again. And here's your player character. Looking like a boss. 21st century superstar.
You know, this looks more next gen than the actual next gen fucking game.
It came out a decade ago.
Yep.
They're fighting the Morningstar from the Syndicate in this game.
Oh, God.
Johnny Guy taking that bullet for you, dude. What up, bro? He gets right up and starts shooting everybody. Ooh. Angel. You know he's voiced by Hulk Hogan. I'm not joking. Fucking Oleg.
Jesus. I think the issue here is the people who actually cared about Saints Row no longer works there.
That's probably what's happened.
Yep, now you just have a bunch of people trying to cash in on it, but they're doing it so wrong. Who the fuck is gonna buy this game?
Yep.
But
so there you go, actual Saints Row stuff. Granted, this was more where it's starting to get more goofier. cartoonish than the first two games, but still, at least it had the spirit of the series. I'm like, whatever the fuck this is.
There's nothing wrong with having some goofy nature to it. Like, for example, that's like complaining about going from a dark movie like Gojira to a satire to a movie that still had a message, but done in a more satirical manner, like King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah, if I'm just saying, if you all want to know where to start with the series, like at least when it comes to the best one, it's Saints Row 2. You can get all the games on the Xbox. Unfortunately, the first one's only available through the 360 or the Series X or Xbox, just whatever. Anything from 360 and above, you can play the first Saints Row on it. We'll just say that.
Yeah, I plan to play it, but I have such a long list of stuff on my to-do list. That list is so fucking high. I have many things I'm Xing off it. Some movies, some TV shows, some video games, you name it. JS Penis, finish.
I was gonna say, all the gangs don't even look that good in the new game, too. Hell, that one, I forget their names, but those big muscular dudes, they look more like they belong in Saints Row or Saints Row gang than the actual fucking people in the reboot. It's just a bunch of soulless Zoomers, if we're being honest, in the new series. I'm not trying to sound like some kind of video game boomer right now, but it's fucking true here with this case.
Yeah. JS Penna said, I also heard the next GTA was gonna be shit. I can't really say that. I think a lot of people complaining is kind of ridiculous on Grand Theft Auto's behalf, mainly because a lot of times they're just complaining about it, to them announcing there's gonna be a female character in the game, and I don't see the issue with that. It is the first GTA where you're gonna play as a female character, and you want to know what my thoughts is? I think it's probably going to have, since they said it's going to be inspired by Bonnie and Clyde, and considering how Grand Theft Auto 5 had you switch between characters, I think it's probably going to switch between the male character and the female character. Either way, it doesn't really matter to me as long as it's good, but that's essentially how I feel about it. I don't think that automatically means it's going to be woke. Hell, it could even have a feminist message like Prey, and it still doesn't mean it'll be woke.
We'll just see what happens when it comes out, and just leave it to that for right now.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that, but it can't be worse than what Saints Row's dealing with.
Yeah, that whole series was wild. There was one mission where you had to go into a sex club trying to find a pimp. Oh, yeah. In Saints Row 3 and 4, you use a dildo as a weapon called a penetrator.
Oh my god.
3 and 4 just got absolutely bonkers. Still really fun, and still good stories, though.
Anyway, anything else you guys have to say about Saints Row?
Oh, I got still a bit to say. I'm still pissed that they just got rid of all the old characters like that. And yet they just came out with like these characters that are just like shit-ass versions of them. Like, what the actual fuck? Yeah. You had Johnny Gat. Johnny Gat's like probably the fan favorite of the whole fucking franchise. Oh, he's gone. Shandi. Okay, yeah. I didn't really like what they did. She was like this cool hippie character, going around, fucked around everyone like a fucking whore, but she was still a pretty cool character. But then she went all angry and pissy and shit in like 3 and 4, so they kind of ruined her character at that. And then Pierce was like this really smart, funny dude who bitches a lot, but he was like really funny and he was really smart, loyal guy.
Yeah. Just kind of also said, no, I heard about the next GTA was going to be culturally sensitive, not the female lead. I could care less about the female lead. That would be interesting. Okay, yeah, I forgot about that, but yeah, I have.
Okay, that's a big red flag already if that's what they're saying.
Yeah, I have heard that, just I forgot about it. That automatically slipped my mind, but yeah, that is a red flag, because the thing about Grand Theft Auto is being extremely offensive. It's like an Adult Swim show or some shit. It's supposed to say have the most off the wall and offensive humor to piss everyone off. So yeah, that is a red flag. Anyway, Abyss, go on.
Yeah, I don't know. It just had a lot of cool characters. Kinsey Kensington or whatever. She was like this FBI hacker. She was the highlight of 3 and 4, at least when it comes to the side characters, probably. That was new. Some of the best gangs from the series, from 1 and 2 at least, because that's like the only ones that are really actually good. Saints Row 3rd. They kind of look promising at first, but then you kind of realize they kind of suck compared to 1 and 2. The Vice Kings, led by Benjamin King, he actually ends up living, like, by the end of his quest line, even though his whole gang's taken out, and they take all his territory. He comes back in 4, though, so there's something that.
Yeah.
He was voiced by Michael Clunkin Dark, or whatever his name is.
Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah.
I remember him. He was a really good actor.
Oh, yeah. Rest in peace, dude. He was actually supposed to come back and voice him in Saints Row 4, but, he died. So guess who they got him to voice him in 4?
Yeah, it's a shame that
Terry Crews! Power! That's a great replacement, though, not gonna lie. They did a tribute to him in the 4th game because of that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, rest in peace, big guy. Hell of an actor.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, like I said, Angel De La Muerte, that dude who did that fucking DDT on that guy, the table, he was voiced by Hulk Hogan.
Jesus.
Yeah. He didn't come back in 4. It might have been from where Hogan's ego got in the way and demanded more money. And
yeah,
they're like,
that's the thing with a lot of American actors I notice, where they're kind of spoiled with how much money they're given with bigger budget products.
I mean, if I'm going to be honest with you, ego's running wild huge in the wrestling business. Just go look it up and you'll completely see what I'm talking about.
I'm not surprised. And it's a shame. Like, for example, that's one of the reasons why when you watch a lot of Japanese movies and you have an English-speaking American, most of them aren't fucking Don Fry in Godzilla Final Wars, because a lot of the good actors in America are expensive, and that's the issue. That's why, just imagine how cheap Hollywood would be if they just hired a lot of the famous Japanese actors and actresses like Ken Watanabe, Rinko Kikuchi, Yumiko Shaku, and all of that. Because the thing is, they're not spoiled because the countries that they're in doesn't have the money to pay them the extent the big actors here get, and they're just as good.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, money doesn't equal talent. It's just a lot of talented actors get paid a lot from being spoiled by the productions they're usually in.
Well, I mean, there was a couple of pretty famous WWE wrestlers who wrestled over in Japan, though. Vader, Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle, AJ Styles.
Yeah.
The Undertaker.
Yeah, Undertaker and Stone Cold even wrestled over there, but that was before they became huge names. Those people I'm talking about were huge names when they wrestled over there by then.
Actually, no, the WWF in 1997 did send The Undertaker over there to wrestle a match with some other Japanese wrestler who also had a super.
Oh, yeah, Hulk Hogan even. Hulk Hogan, yeah. Hulk Hogan went back to New Japan for a bit before he went to WCW after he left WWF. Yeah. I'm sorry we got off track there, but because we were talking about a fucking wrestler from Saints Row, but yeah. I'm trying to think of another couple characters. But I think I mentioned all the ones that were pretty damn good. Shit. Oh yeah, the Winter Sisters, they were pretty cool. One of them ends up getting killed, and the other one ends up joining your fucking gang. That was Viola who does. Killbane, who basically looks like Brock Lesnar under his mask, in the remastered version of him at least. It looks fucking hilarious. Oh yeah, RVD voiced, I forget who it was, but RVD voiced one of the people in Saints Row 3. Forgot who it was. I think it was one of the announcer dudes.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know who RVD is, he's none other
Rob
than
Van Dam.
Rob Van Dam!
Yep, I always liked his opening theme since it was metal.
One of a kind! Hey, one of a kind!
Yeah.
Here I see when I look in your
look in your eye, makes you believe I'm one of a kind.
Oh, God.
Alright, we probably should go on to something else since we're just rambling at this point.
Yeah, anyway, I'm sure y'all heard about the leaks to the upcoming Monsterverse movie coming in 2024, which is confirmed to be following both Godzilla and King Kong. So, what we're gonna look at here, and first I want to say there's a lot of products, like this is a really great time for both Godzilla and Kong, and This is a really great time for both Godzilla and Kong because there's so many products of both series. You really can't complain. Like in Japan, where Godzilla is most popular, his popularity was highly revived alongside Kong. While in America, while Godzilla is popular again, Kong's back at the top here in the West. So both monsters of their country is doing phenomenal where they're at. And it's great because with Kong, you have this movie, you have the upcoming animated series in the Monsterverse, and the upcoming live-action series based on a novel prequel to the 33 classic, which I'm very curious about that one. And with Godzilla, you have this possible Shin universe. I say possible because I don't really know much about it. I'm expecting a fucking video game, a Shin universe video game. Mark my words on that, but that's a different topic altogether. Another thing I want to mention, you also have probably more animated series of Godzilla to come out and things like that. And then you have this movie, which I think we all predicted it. It's now confirmed what's going to be. And even a synopsis was brought to our attention. So, 1 minute. Wait, is it showing the proper fucking screen yet? 1 minute. Okay. Let me share the screen.
They're making it sound like it's going to be Destroyer or maybe Space Godzilla next.
Yeah. Anyway, the synopsis right here is this latest entry follows up on the explosive showdown of Godzilla vs. Kong with an all-new cinematic adventure, pitting the almighty Kong and the fearsome Godzilla against a colossal, undiscovered threat hidden within our world, challenging their very existence and our very own. The epic new film will delve further into the histories of these titans, their origins, and the mysteries of Skull Island and beyond, while uncovering the mystic battle that helped forge these extraordinary beings and tied them to humankind forever. Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential there. Like, for example, for what I feel about it, for what I feel about the synopsis of this movie, I think I don't know if it'll be Destroyer. I think Destroyer has a lot of potential because him, Space Godzilla, and all that are fan favorites, both here and in Japan. And they're bringing up to be the biggest threat, where it wouldn't surprise me if this is the final movie in the Monsterverse, to be honest. Or maybe this beast will serve as the Thanos or some shit of this little cinematic universe. So, but we'll have to kind of see on how that kind of works with the whole thing. But a little idea I have, which I'll go into soon, I think the monster is, I would like to see. I don't know who the monster is, but my three biggest guesses is Biollante or Destroyer, which we're speaking of such, which I would like to give my idea on. I think it would be cool if we got something like Godzilla vs. Megalon, where you have the underground monster being Biollante and a space monster that also shows up. And why this really does appeal to me, because just think about how in the Heisei era, Space Godzilla and Biollante were both mutant Godzilla clones. So kind of like weird brother and sister in a way. So just imagine if you had the underground threat being Biollante and a threat that comes from space, which is similar, being Space Godzilla. It would kind of make the battle all the more intense since Godzilla and Kong are going to be working together to defeat. It'll be kind of like how in Godzilla vs. Megalon with Godzilla and Jet Jagger versus Megalon and Gigan, only a lot more serious. Well, as serious as the Monsterverse goes, that is. And I think it would be cool. Or even seeing Biollante team up with Destroyer, or Space Godzilla and Destroyer team up would also be nice. I just think that would be an overall cool concept.
Yes.
But, any theories you guys got?
It's probably going to be, my guess is probably going to be Destroyer, the way how they're describing it, a threat no one's ever seen before. Yeah, no one's ever seen anything like Biollante, or Destroyer, I mean, my bad.
Yeah.
He shows up, all hell will break loose. That happens.
Yep. Cody, anything you have to say?
I'm 98% sure going to be Destroyer because seem to be going for like the big hitters of the Godzilla villains. They already did King Ghidorah in King of the Monsters, then they did Godzilla and Godzilla vs. Kong. So where do you go after that for a big hitter? Basically, either Destroyer, Space Godzilla, or Biollante. and maybe Gigan, but
yeah,
again, when you're describing it to be screams of Destroya, or as James Ralph likes to say, Destroya!
I think it's either Destroya or Biollante. Space Godzilla is a possibility too, but those are the two I'm leaning towards right now, if not a completely new monster, which some people would complain about, but I'm not against, because I feel if Japan can make a new kaiju, why can't we? Though if I was to criticize anything, I do think often when we make new monsters, like we make some of the coolest incarnations of the already existing monsters, like Godzilla, Rodan, Ghidorah, and all that. But our new monsters, like the fucking Muto, are pretty fucking basic. So if it is a new monster, I hope they get a little more creative.
They should get the people who designed the kaiju for Pacific Rim. That shit was dope.
Yes. Those kaiju were fucking awesome. But yeah, that's essentially how I feel about the whole thing. Is I think it's one of them, but that's me. That's what I think. It's one of them. That's who I'm leaning towards. And why I think Biollante also has a shot is because they're saying something about underground, and Biollante often goes underground. She's a fucking plant. So it wouldn't be out of the blue.
Honestly, sounds a little bit like a stretch, only because, well, underground could be for any burrowing kaiju, like Megalon or Baragon or Anguirus.
Yeah, hell, especially Megalon. The only reason why I have a bit of doubt of it being Megalon is because Megalon's kind of stigmatized for being a part of a stupid, goofy movie. But that movie was a lot of fun. I don't care what anybody says. But you know what? The concept does kind of fit in his favor. Anguirus, I highly doubt, since Anguirus, his reputation goes more on with being an ally to Godzilla, despite fighting in their first encounter and being an enemy in Final Wars. But generally, the 70s era is what people think of when it comes to Anguirus. Though, another thing I'd like to go into when it comes to this movie, there are some actors that are returning, like, clearly the conspiracy theorist. I forgot his name, but he's also in movies like...
I was going to say, isn't it the black dude named Bernie?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I really enjoyed him in Godzilla vs. Kong. He was fucking funny, and it's nice to see him coming back. But I think one of the things that I had issues with in Godzilla vs. Kong is the fact that they kind of ignored a lot of the build-up King of the Monsters brought, because a lot of people complained about the characters in King of the Monsters, but when it came to characters like Zhang Zi's character, Chen, and what's the actor's name? Something Charles Dance. His character, I forgot the character's name. Jonah. A lot of people complain. Jonah, yeah. A lot of people complain about those characters not having much, but here's the thing. They are meant to be set up characters. These movies are connecting in many ways, and what that movie did, it built up Chen to be this interesting, mysterious being that connects to Mothra in some way. It built up Jonah to have more of a bigger part in later entries. But the thing is, Godzilla vs. Kong forgot they existed. I'm hoping it could kind of finish up those two's arc as characters, a lot like how King of the Monsters went into Serizawa more and got you more invested in his character. I'm hoping they can kind of fix some of what GvK did. And I do love Godzilla vs. Kong, but that is one of the gripes I have with it. Is another thing about it being short is there was a lot of stuff cut, like returning characters. And I think I have heard Chen was originally in GvK until they kind of fucking cut her. So
and Mark Russell had a bigger role in the movie too originally.
Yeah, I think there's many things this one could kind of fix that GvK cut, but we'll have to see. But you know what? This could kind of take the Godzilla and the modern Godzilla and Kong shared universe movie and perfect it, because Godzilla vs. Kong, badass movie, but it's definitely not what it could have been due to it being cut down to extreme extents, where it just kind of feels like you're watching a best of a fantastic movie. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
But that's essentially what I think. There are going to be some returning characters. Hopefully, some of them will be from King of the Monsters that never got their time to truly shine. But who knows?
I doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it too, but we'll have to see. But if I was directing these movies, those are the people I would get those people fucking back. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Anyway, y'all have anything more to say about Godzilla vs. Kong's upcoming sequel?
I have a few things I'd actually like to say.
Okay.
One thing, personally, that you touched on, it really sucks for me personally that they're doing their best to distance themselves from Godzilla vs. King of the Monsters, especially since I personally think it's the best movie of the Monsterverse thus far. The fights between Godzilla Kong and Mechagodzilla were effectively better than the fights between Godzilla and King Ghidorah and King of the Monsters, but even still, as a whole, it just had a grander, more epic feel to me personally. Even if it didn't live up to its full potential, I still think if you comparatively, King of the Monsters is better than GvK in the majority of the and the Monsterverse as a whole. It's the best one.
Yeah, I agree. Godzilla vs. Kong, I think, could have equaled Godzilla vs. Kong could have equaled King of the Monsters if they didn't cut all that down. I'm not sure because we don't know. We didn't see the uncut version. But when you read a lot of the stuff in the novelization, which novelizations, while I do hear add some things, they also add a lot of stuff that was cut from the original material. And I think in many ways, we could have gotten a fucking masterpiece with Godzilla vs. Kong. But the thing is, he cut it down so much. And I'm not against making shorter movies. The original King Kong vs. Godzilla was less than 2 hours as well. But you know what? The story didn't have all this shit to build off of. The story in the original King Kong vs. Godzilla worked and the runtime it was giving. It didn't throw so much in your face where it bit off more than it could chew. Godzilla vs. Kong tried being as short as the original King Kong vs. Godzilla while throwing in as much shit as the previous Monsterverse movies that were over an hour, that were 2 fucking hours.
Yeah, a big part of that was the fact that I get the feeling that a lot of what was cut was the continuity ties from King of the Monsters because it did so poorly at the box office and so many people say that the movie's bad. It's not. Y'all go fuck yourselves, you haters. But still, people, executives, big suit and tie guys, they like to make money. And they saw that King of the Monsters did not make that much money, so they're just like, get that shit out of here, unfortunately.
That's probably what was going on.
And that's a shame because that's hurting the quality of the current movies. That's an issue here. Like I seen someone say about the 5-hour cut. Wingard said there could be, which I don't know if he needs all that footage. I'm sure some of that footage needed cut because I'm sure a good chunk of it is filler. But I think from what was in GvK, a 3-hour runtime would have fitted. But I seen someone say, I bet on you most of that wasn't even monsters. It was probably just humans. It's like, yeah, but that's the issue. The monster stuff in Godzilla vs. Kong was not the fucking problem. It was the story and human stuff, which is important. Because what they do, they take the majority of the screen time where Godzilla and Kong isn't on the screen. So here's the thing. If the human aspect is boring, which it's not, I did enjoy the human aspect. It was just heavily flawed. You're bored with the majority of the fucking movie.
Yeah, personally, even though I would not be opposed to a humanless kaiju movie as sort of an experiment to see if it would work or not, I still enjoy the mass majority of the human plots in the Godzilla movies. For me, the story in Godzilla vs. Gigan, the human story, it's fun. It's like our friend Trevor kept saying, it's like an episode of Scooby-Doo come to life. And also, the human plot for Godzilla vs. Mothra in 1992 about the thief who's also trying to be with his daughter and get back with his wife, but his wife hates his guts. I love that shit. I actually was quite entertained by it. So, for me, the humans is not the problem. It's the fact that you need to do the best to make the humans as interesting as possible, and that's on the writers, not the actors.
Exactly. Now, the actors do have a part in it, as an actor could deliver the lines and make that character more effective. But that's, I think, when it comes to bringing a character to life, the writer and actor are both equally important for different reasons, since the actor makes those lines they're delivering they make it where you believe that character, but the actors aren't the issue with the Monsterverse. The actors do a great job with the roles they're given. It's the writers that are the issue.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's also up to, instead of, unfortunately, this is something that happens, studio interference gets in the way a lot too. Whoever's editing the film needs to find the best balance of what the studio thinks people want versus what the movie needs to actually be good.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the issue is, and with Godzilla vs. Kong's case, the human aspect could have been very good, because there's a lot of things about Serizawa that I heard about in the novelization, and certain aspects that actually connect to one another that didn't in the movie, that just aren't there in the film, and that sucks. I do love the movie a lot. I think it's a great film overall, just, it feels so cut in half. It just can't see past those flaws a lot of the time. It just feels like we got something less than what we could have had. It's an awesome film, but it's also a disappointment.
Yeah, in addition to Ren Serizawa's part being cut down significantly, from what I understand, the other human villain's role in the movie was cut down too. And an element that was completely done away with was dealing with Madison Russell's PTSD from the event she experienced in the last movie, which I feel was also a mistake.
Yep. Which is a shame, because they could have done a lot with it. I know the Monsterverse doesn't try to take itself overly serious. They try to go with the more fun popcorn flick route, but don't be afraid to sprinkle around some drama. Godzilla vs. Kong had some drama in it, and so did Godzilla King of the Monsters. So that could have actually enhanced the story and made you more interested in her character. And I was never a huge fan of Millie Bobby Brown's character, but she wasn't bad in King of the Monsters, and they could have made her better in Godzilla vs. Kong, just they failed at doing such, and a big part of that is probably due to Wingard's decision to cut down half the movie. Here's the thing, I know I'm not a filmmaker, but this is how a filmmaker should think when editing the movie. They should ask themselves, when removing a scene, does this add to the plot? If it adds to the plot, keep it. If it doesn't, remove it. Because the way I see it is that stuff is very fucking important, because once you cut that, the movie is affected. No excuse you made is gonna fix that, because he said some type of excuse like it's harder to make a shorter film, and it's like, if it is harder to make a shorter film, you sure fucking failed at it.
I don't think it was entirely his decision to make the movie shorter. I think it was studio mandates.
It probably was, especially looking at the runtime of the previous box office disappointment being King of the Monsters, but I have no idea.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Now, I got one more thing to say.
Okay.
Even though I still believe Destroya is going to be the villain of this movie, I would prefer if it was either Megalon, Biolante, or a brand new guy, because I feel like Destroya needs to be earned. It should be saved for later on down the line. That's just me,
reasonable. That's reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we should probably move on to the next thing. So this one's a bit older news, but it's still new enough for me, I think, to cover. And that is, I'm sure a lot of you know that a lot like other very big franchises like Marvel and stuff like that, there's generally a Kamen Rider show every year. How it works is essentially Toei hires different people to work on different things. And we've been getting a lot this year. Like, we got a anime adaptation of the manga sequel to the live action show Kamen Rider Double, Futo Pai, and we're getting another series called Kamen Rider Black Sun coming in October, I think. That's going to be another very dark and gory show similar to Amazon's. And another one that's coming is a more family-friendly one, being Kamen Rider Geats. I think that's how it's pronounced. And when it comes to Geats, I was a bit skeptical at first, because in Geats' case, when it was announced, it just sounded like it was going to be, well, a product. And I know what you're thinking. It's all a product, but the thing is here, when it came to the annunciation of Geats, they said they were making the Battle Royal thing because of the popularity of stuff like Apex Legends. And it's like, yeah, this just sounds like they're cashing in on what's big with the people. But the thing about this, it actually does look interesting. But I do want to point out how Kamen Rider has done the Battle Royal thing before. They've done it with Ryuki, which is where shows like Madoka Magica got their idea to kind of do a Battle Royal. And then there is Kamen Rider Gaim, also done by Geno Buchi, that had a Battle Royal plot to get the Forbidden Fruit to make them, well, pretty much a fucking god. So this isn't new, the whole Battle Royal thing here, but overall, even though they said they're taking inspiration from stuff like Apex Legends, which had me skeptical, this has potential. Let's start the trailer. Like, first thing I want to say, well, I'll let show off more. Now, first thing I want to say, when it comes to the rider designs here, what I really dig is this one seems to have a massive inspiration from a lot of Japanese material as a whole, like the fireworks being more festival inspired, has a big Japanese imagery around it, and the rider designs has that fox spirit look that kind of bring more of that Shinto-esque feel to it, which works because it kind of reminds me of Garo in that regard, because when it comes to shows like Garo, the designs of the wolf aesthetic was there to kind of mix the medieval knight feel with something that'll come out of the Shinto or Buddhist belief, with the wolf, since it's soul metal, kind of representing strength and stuff of the like, which gave it a more Asian combined East and West feel to it. This one is doing something similar by basing the rider design off the fox god in Japanese mythos, which I think is cool. I also like the mechanical voice it tends to have. But of course, you have the pretty boy that all rider shows have, because a lot of women like Kamen Rider. Another thing I want to point out is it's definitely is this whole Japanese Shinto Buddhist-esque feel that it's going with here. This isn't really the first time a rider show's touched on that, as you had Kamen Rider Ghost that handled stuff like shaman and things of the like, which I haven't seen yet, but many people say it's one of the weaker shows. But this one, I think, could kind of take that Buddhist rider aesthetic and kind of push and kind of give it what it deserves, especially since this one seems to be going farther with the more Japanese thing going. And that's one of the things I do like about Kamen Rider is, even though they release a show every year, Toei manages to make them all feel different from one another by hiring multiple different people to work on them to kind of give their own vision. Of course, as a result, some aspects do turn out as just a product that gets released on the very next year, just so another rider thing is out. But there's also, since multiple different people are working on them, you get something different. And this year is the perfect example that we have this. We have Futo Pi that since it's a sequel to Kamen Rider Double, it goes back to that detective feel. Not to mention Futo Pi is for adults, so there's more violence in it. And then you have Black Sun, which has a very dark tone, and from what I heard, is going to have gore in it too, and which I'm expecting a lot of things from that. I actually expect we're going to get something like Black Sun every couple of years, because we just had Amazons a few years ago, and from what I'm seeing it, there's going to be a new modern reimagining of older school Rider stuff to come out for Amazon. I think there's kind of a deal there that started with that particular show that's going to become more often. Okay. Oh, I like the visuals. And the famous Rider kick. Has potential. Like I said, it could just be good at marketing because this is just a trailer, but when I originally heard about it, my expectations were low, considering that they had to bring up the Battle Royale thing with stuff like fucking Apex Legends. But it seems like they are putting more heart in it than I originally thought. But probably would have been a better idea to compare it with a previous Battle Royale Rider show, being something like Ryuki or Gaim, especially since those are fan favorites. Now, the designs of the riders, some of them look a bit on the goofy side, but I get what they're going for. They're going with a more Buddhist aesthetic, like the lead rider has a fox god look, and then you have all these other spiritual Asian looks to them that seems to be what it's going for. While some of those aren't my preference, I do respect the vision. And I noticed in modern rider shows and modern Ultraman, they definitely upped the budget with what they're able to have. But like I said, I don't know what they're going to do with it. It has a lot of competition because there's a lot of big Rider stuff coming out this year. You have that, you have Futo Pi, which is really good so far, and then you have the upcoming Kamen Rider Black Sun, which is pretty much a successor to Amazon's. So will it be up there as one of the best things to come out this year, or will it be the weakest? I have no idea, but I'm interested. Anything you guys have to say as people who aren't as acquainted with Kamen Rider?
I don't care.
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
Yeah. I might try to get into Kamen Rider again, but as of right now, I don't really have interest in it. Sorry.
That's fine. I'm interested in it, but it's not this show. I don't know if this one's going to be one of the better things that come out for the Rider stuff with all the big stuff coming out, but I don't know. I do know Kamen Rider has this trend to focus on story, which is something it has over Ultraman. While Ultraman's more episodic, which I don't think that's an issue. I like the episodic nature of Ultraman while also being story-driven, while Kamen Rider tends to be more connecting. But like I said, overall, I think both work for their own reasons. But that said, I don't think there's anything else to really say today.
No.
Fuck the Saints Row Reboot.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I have one more thing to say.
Huh?
Leaky shit Geats.
But that said, please comment your thoughts down below, and if you enjoyed it, smash that like button, share it around, and subscribe. Make sure to hit that bell for notifications to keep up to date on all my future content. Also, check out my social media accounts in all tech, and feel free to also check out Abyss Kaiser's channel. He does plan to do more with it at some point. This is Gojin the Makai Phantom leaving the building.